各位贵宾、各位老师，还有各位同学，大家早安！欢迎大家参加台湾国际科学展览会的开幕典礼以及大师论坛。Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and also all the participants, as well as all the students and teachers. Welcome to the opening ceremony of the Taiwan International Science Fair, as well as our Meet the Scientists Forum. 大家可能不知道，其实我们的台湾国际科学展览会，我们从2002年开始，我们就邀请来自海外的同学还有老师们来参与我们的展览会。那么除了想要看到各位同学们很杰出的科学研究成果之外，其实我们的科学展览会的另外一个重点，就是希望让同学们彼此之间可以互相学习，然后互相交流。同时呢，我们也希望说大家从我们与会的大师身上，也可以学习交流，接受新的刺激。So actually, the Taiwan International Science Fair started inviting students and participants from overseas to come to Taiwan. And the main purpose of this is actually to see more exchanges among the participants. And of course, we hope that you'll be inspired and stimulated by your fellow participants, as well as the scientists who are a part of the science fair. 我们今年的展览会当中，我们邀请到来自21个国家，有250位同学，还有145位的作品。And so for our science fair this year, we have participants from over 21 countries, a total number of around 250 students, as well as 145 projects. 所以我们非常的期待这一次我们在科展当中看到很多很棒的作品 and we are really looking forward to all the projects that will be showcased in the science fair this year. 我们今天呢科学展览会的开幕典礼一开始，我们准备了一项非常特别的表演。我们今天的表演的团体，他们叫做 LUXY BOYZ。他们呢，为了要配合我们科学展览会的主题，带来的表演也是充满科技感、非常有未来感的一项表演。And to kick off the opening ceremony this morning, we have a performance that is brought to you by LUXY BOYZ. And in line with the theme of the science fair, they have a performance that is futuristic as well as it showcases the use of technology. 所以呢，我们现在就以最热烈的掌声来欢迎我们今天的开幕表演 The LUXY BOYZ. Let's welcome LUXY BOYZ.我要提醒一下各位来宾，我们待会现场如果要拍照的话，为了不影响表演，请大家不要使用闪光灯照相。Also, just a reminder, please do not use flashlights if you need to take a photo, so that we do not affect the performance. Thank you very much. 为我们带来这么精彩的表演，的确是很符合我们科展的主题，就是跟创新还有跟突破有关。因为 LUXY BOYZ 它一直都是用创新、用突破的精神在设计他们的表演。Thank you once again to the LUXY BOYZ for bringing us such an awesome opening performance. 那么我们今天的台湾国际科学展览会的开幕典礼，我们接下来要欢迎这一次来帮各位同学们加油打气，给大家大力支持的一些来宾。And also today, this morning, we would like to welcome some of the guests who are here to lend us their support. 我们首先呢，我们要欢迎的是教育部的林淑珍次长。We would like to welcome Deputy Minister Lin of the Ministry of Education. She will be joining us very shortly. 欢迎，我们要欢迎的是鈺创科技卢超群董事长 Chairman Lu of 鈺创 Technology, who will be our speaker today. 接下来我们要欢迎的是国立台湾大学电机系叶丙成副教授 Professor Ye from National Taiwan University, who will also be our speaker today. 接下来我们要欢迎的是财团法人崇友文教基金会唐秋玲执行长。We would like to welcome 唐秋玲 from the 崇友 Foundation of Culture. 我们要欢迎的是财团法人苏天才文教基金会苏彰化执行董事李苏 from the 苏天才 Foundation. 接下来我们要欢迎的是美商英特尔亚太科技有限公司台湾分公司刘碧华经理。We would also like to welcome Ms. Rebecca Liu from Intel Taiwan, who has been long a supporter of the Taiwan International Science Fair. 我们接下来还要欢迎的是加拿大驻台北的贸易办事处 Mr. Brandon Geithner from the Communication Office in Taipei. Thank you for joining us and lending us your support. 我们接下来还要欢迎的是土耳其贸易办事处经贸法提和先生 We welcome Mr. Fatih Bihar. Welcome, thank you for joining us. 我们也要另外要欢迎的是菲律宾马尼拉经济文化办事处的副代表 Mr. Carlo Aquino from the Manila office in Taipei. Welcome, thank you for joining us. 接下来我们要欢迎的是驻台北印尼经济贸易代表处 Mr. Bayu Wicasano Putro for joining us today. 我们接下来还要欢迎的是莫斯科台北经济文化协调委员会驻台北代表处 Daniel Simochenko for joining us. Russian office in Taipei. Welcome. 我们要谢谢各位来宾今天来提供给我们这么多的支持跟鼓励。不过呢，另外很重要的是，我们还有非常重要的贵宾是台湾科学教育馆的朱南贤馆长，就是我们算是地主，谢谢馆长。还有我们今天也有来自台北市立立山高中的徐建国校长，欢迎校长。校长在哪里呢？欢迎校长。So we would like to welcome all of our guests for joining us this morning. 也谢谢各位贵宾在百忙之中前来给各位同学加油打气。那接下来呢，我们要请我们的各位同学要准备进场了。So now we would like to welcome the students who are here this morning to join us on stage. 我们接下来要请我们的同学进场。We would like to welcome the participants from the science fair to join us on stage. And when we welcome you, please showcase your lab coats and also let us know which countries you are from. 好，我们接下来呢，要请大家首先要欢迎首先进场的同学。So first of all, we would like to welcome our participant from Canada. 首先欢迎的是来自加拿大的同学。Welcome. Also show us your lab coat. 他们的实验服呢是昨天亲手彩绘的，也代表各个国家的特色。接下来我们要欢迎的是埃及 Egypt. Welcome. 来自埃及的参赛者，哇！ 港的同学 from Hong Kong. Hong Kong, where are you? 香港。接下来我们来欢迎来自意大利的同学 Italy。Patricia with your lab coat， 来自意大利，非常有国家的特色。接下来我们要欢迎来自印尼的同学 Indonesia。Welcome。大家看到他们的实验袍都是自己设计的。And now we would like to welcome from India 来自印度的同学。Welcome, please join us on stage. And next, also from Asia， 同样来自于亚洲，我们来欢迎来自日本 Japan。欢迎来自日本的同学哦，非常有樱花季的感觉。And now we would like to welcome our participant from Korea， 来自韩国的同学。Welcome, please join us on stage. 接下来呢，同样也是来自亚洲，我们要欢迎来自马来西亚的同学 from Malaysia. Welcome. Please join us on stage. 接下来我们要欢迎的是来自菲律宾的同学 from the Philippines. Welcome, also from Asia. Welcome to Taipei. And now we also have our participant from New Zealand, 来自纽西兰。Welcome to Taipei, Taiwan. 接下来我们要欢迎来自南非 from South Africa. 哇，非常有特色的实验袍，色彩缤纷 ，very colorful lab coat. So welcome from South Africa. 接下来我们要欢迎的是来自俄罗斯 from Russia. Please join us. 好，大家都非常的会走秀，会展示哦。接下来呢，我们要欢迎来自土耳其 from Turkey. Please join us. Wow. Welcome. 接下来我们要欢迎来自瑞士 from Switzerland. 瑞士钟表有没有看到 ？Welcome to Taipei. 接下来欢迎来自泰国 from Thailand. 哇，非常的帅气哦。Welcome, Sawadika. 接下来我们要欢迎来自新加坡 from Singapore. Welcome to Taipei and to the Science Fair. 接下来我们要欢迎美国 from the United States. Welcome. 接下来我们要欢迎的是来自突尼西亚 ，our participant from Tunisia. Welcome. 最后进场的是我们今年主办台湾科学展览会的地主国中华民国。Last but not least, from our host country, Republic of China, our delegate from Taiwan. Welcome. 好，我们台湾的同学除了要给我们地主国最大的掌声之外呢，我们是不是再一次以热烈的掌声欢迎我们所有的参加科展的同学 ？Once again, a big round of applause for all of our participants. Thank you. 我们接下来请所有的同学稍微往中间靠近。We would like to ask all of you to please stand closer together so we can take a group photograph at the 2014 opening ceremony of the Taiwan International Science Fair. please a big smile for the cameras. And also a big reminder to all the participants, you're not here just for the science fair, but also to make new friends and also to learn and exchange with each other. So once again, a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you once again. Please be seated. 我们请我们的同学可以就坐。Thank you. Please return to your seats. And best of luck in the International Science Fair. 接下来呢，我们要欢迎的是一直不断的推动台湾在科学教育发展的教育部的长官来为我们说几句话。And also at the opening ceremony today, we would like to welcome Deputy Minister Lin from the Ministry of Education to give us a few words. 我们欢迎教育部的林次长来为我们说几句话。
国内外的老师同学，还有我们这个卢超群董事长，叶丙成副教授，还有我们唐秋玲执行长，还有在座的许许多多的媒体朋友，大家早安，大家好。首先要欢迎大家莅临今天的台湾国际科学展览会的开幕典礼暨大师对谈。那么我要代表教育部蒋部长跟大家致上我们最诚挚的感谢之意啊。那么今年呢，我们总共有535位同学报名参展啊。那经过第一阶段的选拔之后呢，有212位同学通过初审，那么即将跟我们来自这个其他的20个国家的38位同学来共同参与竞赛啊。那我想我们是不是应该再给这些优秀表现的同学一个最热烈的掌声鼓励？我想呢，教育部多年来一直非常积极在推动这个科学教育哦。那我们推动这个科学教育，其实目标非常的简单明确哦。那么就是要及早呢，在同学的心里面呢埋下这个科学的种子啊，让他有机会能够这个发芽茁壮啊。那为我们这个世界的永续发展，各式各样的这个疑难杂症啊，能够寻找这个解答哈。那我们今年8月即将要实施12年国教。那实施12年国教啊，其实不只是入学制度的改变啊，那最重要的是要能够这个打破这个升学主义的迷思啊，让大家不再只是这个纷纷计较于这个分数啊，而是希望老师的那个教学端能够实实在在的改变哈。然后来这个激发起同学这个学习的动力跟动机哈，让同学们能够这个自主学习哈，然后依照自己的兴趣性上适性发展，在每一个领域中都能够发挥自己的所长，然后能够适性扬才，找到属于自己的一片天空哈。那我觉得这个参加这个科学竞赛就是一个很好的途径哈。那么参加科学竞赛可以让同学们在这个生活中就去认识问题，去发现问题，然后去寻找这个研究的方向。那我们设一个很有创意的研究题目，然后去设计实验，在不断的这个错误中，我们去学习、去成长，然后去培养对科学浓厚的兴趣哦。像这样子这个思考研究的能力不断的锲而不舍的研究精神，以及丰富的创造力，我想这就是我们21世纪青少年应该要具备最重要的学习能力哈。 那我大概前几天有看到报纸哦，我们台湾有一位非常年轻的，而且很优秀的女科学家啊，周以佳周教授。那她的研究成果啊，也很成功的就登上了这个国际非常著名的非常顶尖的期刊 Science 哈。那他特别提到，从高中开始，他就对这个科学实验非常的有兴趣啊，而且呢，他也从这个不断的参加这个科展的经验中哈，那他也是激发了对这个科学研究的热忱哈。那可能是大家看到的是这个从事科学研究啊，其实是一个，尤其是基础科学研究是非常寂寞孤独的。但是呢，他看到的是一个科学的迷人的地方，而且他也从中间呢获得了许多的成就感哈。那这就是我们教育部积极推动科学教育最好的回馈。那么我们从这个积极在推动优质的科学教育中哈，我们也努力在跟国际来接轨。从这个最新的2012年的我们的披萨成绩来看哈，我们在这个数学素养的表现是排名第4，那么我们在科学素养的部分也是排名第13啊。那这2个素养的成绩的表现，大概都总体来看都是高于这个 OECD 国家的平均水准哈。那么跟这个国际潮流的接轨的部分，像我们今天举办这个台湾国际科学展览竞赛让同学们能够这个及早培养一个世界观，然后有机会跟这个来自世界各国的这个优秀的选手们、优秀的同学们互相的来做一个交流、观摩、学习那这就是我们举办这个竞赛最主要的目的哈。那今天呢，我们也很荣幸还邀请到这个有2位非常杰出的来自这个学术界跟来自企业界的这个叶丙成教授跟这个卢超群董事长等一下也会来为我们分享他们的这个研究领域跟相关的经验哈。那大家等一下从他们的演讲中，我相信一定也能够获得很好的一个启发跟注意那接下来我们大概有为期1周的展览活动那大家也可以从借这个机会呢，彼此来交流互相的这个科学研究的经验，然后来认识不同的文化，来这个拓展自己的视野那我也借着我们这一次的我们这一次科展的这个 slogan 我也祝福我们在座的每位同学都能够再接再厉让自己的科学的研究成绩能够更上一层楼。同时我也祝福我们这么多的来自国外的朋友都有一个非常丰富美好的台湾经验。最后我再一次祝福各位所有的贵宾身体健康，万事如意，新年快乐！谢谢大家，谢谢。
非常谢谢市长给我们的鼓励。Thank you once again to Deputy Minister Lin. Just a quick summary of what the Deputy Minister wanted to share with us. And first of all, congratulations to all the participants, because you are here because you excelled in the projects that you did. So congratulations for that. And the reason that we are holding the International Science Fair in Taiwan is actually because we hope to grow a little seed of learning inside your heads and your hearts, so that you'll be able to solve problems in the future and also to make a difference in the world. And actually, this is what Taiwan has been really highlighting on, and we hope that the students that participate in the science fair will learn not only to see the problems, but to learn to think of ways to solve the problems that are happening in our lives and also in the world. And actually, there is a scientist in Taiwan who is teaching at Chiao Tung University. Her scientific work was recently published in the journal Science. And in one of the interviews of this scientist, she talked about how she participated in many science fairs back when she was in high school. So that is, I think, an encouragement to all of us. And also, for the science fair, we hope that in the 1-week event, you will be able to learn about different cultures, to open up your eyes and your mind, and also to, as our slogan says, to dream big and to inspire the future. And today we are also very honored to have two scientists join us for a panel discussion for a forum. We have Professor Ye, and also we have Chairman Liu from eTron Technology. And so last but not least, I would like to wish you all the best of luck and also happiness and success to all of you. So those are what the Deputy Minister would like to share with us. 我们再一次谢谢次长他给我们的鼓励，非常感谢。我们接下来呢要邀请的是我们的主办单位国立台湾科学教育馆的朱南贤馆长，也为我们说几句话。And now we would like to invite our host, the director of the National Taiwan Science Education Center, to also give us a few words.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to welcome all of you to 2014 Taiwan International Science Fair. Science is a vehicle which brought some of our guests to here today. With that said, I would like to give a warm welcome to our distinguished guests. We have Administrative Deputy Minister Lee, Professor Ye, and Dr. Lu, representative from Canada, New Zealand, Turkey, South Korea, Philippines, Russia, Indonesia. I would like to extend my greetings to all the participants who have dedicated themselves to science. We have more than 250 students who come from 20 countries with 145 projects. For students, your efforts are not just about trying to win the prizes, but exploring the world or lead up to the science spirit. Because you are dreaming big, the future will be inspired by you. As the Director General of Taiwan National Taiwan Science Education Center, I'm proud and honored to join you here today. During this week, we have arranged a marvelous talk. Meet the scientists, a platform for shared idea which science educator workshop. Student mixed luncheon for international exchange, and a science tour to visit high-tech industry. I hope you will be inspired by today's speech as well as the activities of the following week. I sincerely thank the Foundation of Businesses, Intel Corporation, TDK Foundation, CFC Foundation, Image Corporation, Su Tiancai Foundation, and the Qingyang Foundation, who answer the call to help foster the needs of young scientists. In addition, I want to welcome and thank our partner, Taipei Lisan High School, who made this fair possible, and in which we also gathered 40 judges, 50 volunteers, ISF alumni, and all NTSCC staff. Once again, I would like to extend our best wishes to everyone for an enjoyable competition and success in all of your future endeavors. Thank you very much.
非常谢谢主管长。Thank you once again to Director Zhu. 我们接下来呢要进入到今天大家非常期待的一个段落，就是我们今天的大师对谈。We will now proceed to a moment that I'm sure all of you have been very much excited about. That is to meet the scientists. 我们今天很荣幸邀请到两位，算是真的是大师。一位呢是鈺创科技的卢超群董事长，那另外一位是国立台湾大学电机系的叶丙成副教授。那么我们先介绍一下鈺创科技的卢超群董事长。First of all, we would like to introduce to you one of our scientists, Dr. Nikki Liu of Yitron Technology. 欢迎。我们的卢超群董事长，他是在美国的史丹福大学的电机系取得硕士还有博士的学位。后来呢，回到台湾之后，是在1991年的时候创办了鈺创科技公司，在公司是担任董事长还有执行长的工作，而且也帮助了台湾，其实打造了在 IC 方面产业的国际级的地位。So Dr. Nikki Liu received his master's and also PhD from Stanford University in mechanical engineering. He founded his company, Yitron Technology, in 1991. And he will be sharing his experience with us this morning. 我们今天另外也非常荣幸邀请到的是台湾大学电机系的叶丙成副教授。那叶老师呢，其实非常的知名哦。虽然我大学毕业很久了，但是到现在都还是有听到老师响亮的名声。叶老师在教学方面是用很创意、非常有趣的方式来教学，而且常常在教学的时候，据说用了很多所谓的乡民梗。所以呢，我们也很期待今天叶老师给我们的分享。And Professor Ye is from National Taiwan University. He is really well known in Taiwan for his very creative teaching methods and also innovative ways of helping students think and helping students solve different problems. 那么我们今天呢，一开始我们的大师论坛，我们首先就要先用热烈的掌声来欢迎台湾大学叶丙成副教授，先来跟我们分享。So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome first Professor Ye to share with us his experiences. 另外，我们也非常感谢教育部林次长今天加入我们，因为次长另外有要工，所以我们再次谢谢次长今天的莅临。Thank you once again to Deputy Minister Lin for joining us this morning. She has another engagement, but thank you once again for joining us and lending us your support. And now we will turn the floor over to Professor Ye. 那么我们接下来即将进行的是大师的论坛，我们会先请叶丙成副教授先来跟我们做分享，然后接下来才请我们的卢董事长。那我们接下来就把时间交给叶老师。
Thank you. And hello everyone. My name is Ping Chen, and or you can call me Benson. Okay. And actually, I'm very overwhelmed because I think I'm still too young to be called as a master. I think Dr. Liu is much more qualified to be called master than I do. Okay. But today it's my honor and it's my pleasure to come here to share with you some of my some of the things that we have done in the past and some of my philosophy. Okay. I think I want to share with you young people, and hopefully maybe someday you might find it might be helpful to you or not. Okay. Okay. So first of all, I want to introduce myself. Okay. I'm an associate professor at the Department of Electrical Engineering in National Taiwan University. I'm also the director of the NTU MOOC. Okay. I'm in charge of the Coursera courses in the NTU. And I'm also the associate director of the National Taiwan University, the Center for Teaching and Learning Development. So that's the center in the NTU that's in charge of enhancing the teaching of our university. And I graduated from Checkpoint High School and Math Department of NTU. And then I got my master in EE in NTU, and then I got my PhD at University of Michigan in Auburn. And I teach courses in probability, communication laboratory, and I'm also the one who teach presentation communication skill. That's one of the very first course in NTU that teach students systematically teach students how to do presentation. And one more interesting thing about me is my LV value is 30. Okay, so this is something like this. I once have a news event about my teaching. And then the other day I was Googling about the event. I was wondering if there's some news report about my the news event. Then I found this, okay? I found like my name and associated with a number, so LV 30, okay? And I wonder what is this? So I copied this photo, this picture, and I posted it on Facebook. And I asked the student, what the heck is this, okay? And then there was 4 students, they confessed to me, okay? When they played the online game, LOL, they always use my name to play the game. So it turns out my level LV value became very high. And I surprisingly, I found that I'm very famous in the forum because I found somebody in the forum asking people, can you recommend somebody who's really good in Taiwan in LOL? Then I found that my name appears. They say, oh, Tim Chen is very good. I didn't even know that, okay? So that's another interesting about me, okay? I have very high value, LV value, LOL, but I'm not that good, okay? Okay, so back to the serious thing. Who am I, okay? I think I'm one of the world leading innovators in teaching, okay? In finding the interesting and innovative way to teach students. Okay, and here are some of the things that I've done in the past. Like this is a system I built 3 or 4 years ago. It's an electronic peer evaluation system. But a lot of you students, probably in the class, a lot of times the teacher will ask you to present in the class. Okay, but usually when students present in the class, usually in the classroom is a disaster because usually that student only talk to the professor because professor or the teacher is the one who grades your presentation. Your classmate doesn't have the power to grade your presentation, right? So you only talk to your teacher. And it ends up like you are talking to your teacher face to face at the front, and your classmate just face to Facebook at the back. Okay? So it's a disaster. So I was thinking, how can I change this? Okay, so it ends up that I think I can develop this system. So this is a system that every student, I tell my students that your presentation, your report is not graded by me. It's graded by everybody. So every student with a tablet or iPhone or any mobile device, they can grade their classmates, okay? So you can, like, after the presentation, you will know your grade, you will know the your ranking today, and you will also get to see some comment. Like, this comment is very useful. Like, this was that some student got a comment said, because their classmate told the student who just presented, they said, oh, your smell is really weird. You make me really uncomfortable. Please don't smell like that on the stage anymore, okay? Also, this kind of thing is very useful, okay? Also, it makes this class much more happy. Everybody is very enjoying much more than before, okay? So this is another thing I do. I don't have the time to go through in detail, but I was invited to give a TED Taipei talk, and I mentioned this. This is I was thinking about how can I raise the motivation of the student in the class? So this is the course I taught in National Taiwan University. It's a probability and statistics. So in order to raise their motivation, I built this system. I make this whole class become the online game. Okay. Moreover, the thing is like that. Like in the college, a lot of students they don't really work on their own problem. A lot of the time they copy their solution from other people. So I feel that that's not good. So that's why I set up this game. What did I do? I group the students into groups. Then I say, I don't assign homework problem. I let you guys design your own problem. So after, let's say, if I finish chapter 2, I will say, everybody design your homework problem from chapter 2 material. And then each group conquer each other's problem. The more you conquer, the further you advance on the map. Okay, so everybody says, wow, that guy's really cool. And that guy, wow, you are really slow. Okay? And this game, like you can always see the status of each team. Like this time, you can see this team has solved, like conquered around 10 or 12 problems. And this team has conquered around more than 20 problems. And this team conquered less than 10 problems. And it turns out students will get a lot of peer pressure from this. Because in the past, students only do homework before the deadline. But now that's not the case anymore, because when they see this, they say, wow, that group has finished more than 20 problems, and I just finished less than 10. We have to hurry up, okay? So they become very motivated, okay? And this is a probability course, so you probably would assume that the homework problem in the probability course it must be a lot of math, it must have a lot of like x, f of x, f of y. So let me show you this. This is our problem, okay? No x, no f of x, no f of y. It's just story, Like so, this story is about like Plato. One day Plato asked Socrates, "What is love?" And Socrates asked Plato to go to the garden to pick the most beautiful rose from the garden. But it turns out that the route in the garden is a straight line. Once you miss the rose, you cannot come back anymore. So Socrates feels that Plato probably will hesitate to pick the rose, and because he feels that Plato will always feel that the next rose will be more beautiful, so he wouldn't pick that rose. So he feels that Plato will be hesitating, and until the end, probably come back with empty-handed. Then he can tell Plato about his philosophy about love. But Plato is very clever. He just happens to know that there are 8 roses in this garden. So Plato feels that he has a strategy to raise the probability of getting the most beautiful rose. So this is his strategy. The first 3 roses he see in the garden, you regard it as simple. Don't pick them. But if they see any rose afterward is more beautiful than these 3, he will pick it and just don't hesitate anymore. So according to Plato's strategy, what is his probability of actually picking the most beautiful roses, or the most beautiful rose in this garden? So basically, you can see this problem doesn't have any x or f of x or f of y. It just have Socrates, Plato, and rose. Okay, so beautiful. Okay, so that's why this is what last year. On the Facebook, this is what I saw the students say, okay? A student wrote that, this is at the final exam week, the student wrote that they have 4 problems left on the BJT, that's my online game system. But if I keep solving them, I will not be able to prepare my exams on signal assistant and EM courses. I feel so awful, okay? And then the next day he wrote, I just couldn't help but to solve another 2 problems left on BJT, okay? So you can see that he's fully addicted to our game, okay? He's addicted to learning. So I feel so happy about this. Although I feel a little bit sorry for my colleagues in these other 2 courses, but what the heck. Okay, so then I also developed some other system for students to use in the class, like to increase the interaction between the professors and the students. So professor can ask questions, and then student can answer the question on the smartphone. Okay, and then the professor will know right away how many people answer it correctly and how many people don't really know to really understand it. So he can make the adjustment in the class right away. Okay, so this is also a very useful tool called Zuvio. Okay, and this will be one video I want to show you. Okay, let me tell you this. This is about the final project of my presentation course. Okay, so I was keep thinking about how can I teach presentation well? How can I let the student actually do well in learning how to do presentation? So this is what I do. Okay, basically, let me show you this. This is my final project. I asked my student, the college student, to present to the elementary school kid. Okay, and the elementary school kid decide the final project grade of the student. Okay, and you will see how they are graded at the end. Okay.
台大学生做简报，小学生打分数。这个在台上跟小朋友讲哆啦 A 梦的大哥哥是台大的学生，他昨天到北市荣安国小为高年级生做简报，用小朋友听得懂的语言解释接生的电机理论。有的大哥哥让小朋友听得津津有味，但也有让小朋友打起瞌睡的。让这些大学生来跟小学生做简报，是台大老师的点子。
简报是一个对现在的这个年轻人是一个非常重要的一个技能。怎么样针对一群这个人程度没有那么好，可能平常的在跟他们的喜好跟他们这个讲者差异很大的这种听众，怎么样去做出一个适合他们的简报？
这是要训练学生们将来进了职场后如何做出让人听得懂的简报。昨天早上有5位台大学生进行大 PK， 他们最后面对残酷舞台，小朋友直接站到最喜欢的大人和大后面分数。最受小朋友欢迎的是电机系2年级的简佑君，他的简报中穿插名侦探柯南的卡通来解释太阳能，让小朋友印象深刻。这次的简报大 PK 让大学生和小学生学到不一样的教育。
听得懂吗？
很有趣吗？
很有趣啊！有点。
郑新闻，教育可以这么有趣，报道。
Okay, so I just take this as an example. Like when I was teaching the presentation, I feel that I need to teach a student how to actually do presentation well to strangers or to all kinds of people. So I feel that how can I do? Okay, like if we usually in the class let students present to other classmates, they are all college students. Okay, so it's fairly easy to let his audience understand what he's talking about. So I think that's not a big enough challenge. So that's why I bring them to elementary school to present to the kids. But then some students complain to me. They say, "Wow, Professor, I only took this course to make professional presentations. We're not taking this course to learn how to please the elementary school kid." Okay? So I told them, no, this is totally wrong. Okay? I told them that one similar thing to you guys too. Like once you left you leave the campus, you found that the most difficult presentation in the world is to present to a group of people who either have a lot of power to decide your ranking, but who don't know a lot. That's the most difficult presentation that you do, okay? So what I can do for them is, well, elementary school kid doesn't know that much compared to a college kid, right? So that's the experience I want to give them, okay? And another thing I teach them is like to do good presentation. PowerPoint skill is very important. So I was thinking, how can I make them very specialized in PowerPoint skill. So this is one homework problem I gave them. I asked them to use PowerPoint to design a short animation, and I asked them to post it on YouTube. And depending on how many people click on like, how many likes he gets on YouTube, that determines his grade. Okay? So let me show you the best work they did in the previous semester. Okay? Okay, this is a very famous comics in Taiwan. Okay, so let me ask you this: how many slides do you think in this file? How many PowerPoint slides? There are only 5 PowerPoint slides. Only 5, but it has a lot of layers. Okay, so you see, like I found that if you can design your homework creatively, that this student spend more than 100 hours working on this. Okay, if you can design your teaching in an innovative way, students are willing to spend that much of time to work on it. So that is something I feel very touched. He told me that he spent more than 100 hours on this. Okay. Okay, and then another thing that I'm working on right now is NTU MOOC. Okay. How many of you know about MOOC? Can you raise your hand? Have you ever heard of MOOC? Okay. Oh yeah, 英文学生刚考过。Yeah. Okay. I can explain to you what MOOC is. Okay, it's a massive online open course. It's very different from the original open course we had. Like 12 years ago, from MIT there was an open course, right? That's called OCW. But MOOC is different. MOOC is a new way of open course. It has an interaction. Like when you watch the video, and let's say you watch the video for several minutes, then all of a sudden it will stop, and the video will pause, there will pop up a question. You have to answer the question correctly, then you can further proceed to the next, to watch the video, okay? So it is a new way of online learning, teaching, that have a two-way interaction. And you also have to do the homework and exam to get the final grade. And if you is above the threshold, then you can get a certification, okay? So any professor, you can teach anywhere in the world, and your student come from any place of the world, okay? It's open and it's scalable, okay? And right now, the major MOOC platform, there are three major MOOC platforms. One is Coursera. It is founded by a computer science professor in Stanford. Okay, it's by Andrew. And there's edX, that's a system built by MIT and Harvard. And there's also a system called Udacity. Okay, these are the three major ones, but Coursera is the largest one. And right now in Asia, the major MOOC partners of Coursera include National Taiwan University and PKU, Beijing Daje, and then the Hong Kong University, Chinese University of Hong Kong, and the rest of the university. And edX has fewer schools, but right now Coursera is the largest one. And Coursera at NTU, we started from a year ago. This is the founder of the Coursera, Andrew. He was selected as the top 100 most influential people last year. So he visited NTU last year, a year ago, to invite NTU to join Coursera. And then he likes teaching a lot. So after we deal with the Coursera thing, then we have a dinner together. So I talked to him, we were exchanging our innovations about teaching. So I told him about the game that I just mentioned in my classroom, and he liked it a lot. So he keeps asking me, Benson, if NTU is going to join Coursera, please make your course as soon as possible. He really wants to see this idea of gaming to be shown on the MOOC. So that's why on August 31st, my course, the probability course, and Professor Lu's course on history. These two courses are the first ever MOOC course taught in Chinese, and that's why we got, and we also got the record high enrollment. Okay, and right now at NTU we are aiming to be the best and the first and the best brand of Chinese MOOC, and we are proud to say we are right now. So you can see that right now the Professor Lu's course, the history course, has around 34,000 enrollment, and my course at 26 enrollment. Like in America, like this is just probably the normal number for English MOOC course. But according to Coursera, they are very surprised because there are not that many Chinese MOOC audience at the time. So our record is actually very high, based on their understanding of Chinese market. And I'm proud to say right now, I think I'm the engineering professor right now who have taught the largest ever number of students in the Chinese world. Okay, so this is some students told me that our course was reported in China. This is Yangtze, 中央电视台, the central TV of China, and this news was saw by tens of millions of people. It talks about the effort in NTU.
从2012年诞生到现在，在短短1年的时间里，MOOC已经吸引了全球600多万名的学习者，其影响范围之广、扩张速度之快，就好像是一场风暴一样。一些人将互联网技术引发的这场教育变革称之为MOOC风暴。而在这场风暴当中，郝老师的能量将会成倍的扩散，甚至开启全球授课时代。
提到它的论，您会想到什么？是铺天盖地的公式，还是永远也记不住的模型？如果你选择了台湾大学叶丙成老师的金鱼课，你可能会在柯南的故事和甜豆花的分别里理解深奥的概念知识。前不久， 他的课程在 MOOC 平台上一推出，就受到了学生的欢迎。不仅如此，叶老师还联合学生为他的纪律论课程开发了在线游戏 Demo。在这个游戏中，学生面前站有立牌，扩大视野就得开动脑筋算题目。第一次出现了学生为做题而沉迷于网络的现象。
当时一开始讲说我们放70个题目上去，我们就70个题目应该得撑2个礼拜，结果才4、5天而已，就好多学生跟我们这个抱怨说老师题目不够，再多一点，所以我们想说居然有学生在跟老师抱怨题目不够多，所以我就很感动，就是我们真的做到让学生沉迷于学习，那这是每个老师的梦想。
此时此刻，这是我的方式，北京清华University just skip it, okay? Okay. So in the news you will see that this Pokemon, this is the game that we developed, okay? It is the world's first ever MOOC-based multi-student social gaming platform built for MOOC, okay? So it looks like this, okay? It looks like this. Basically, it's a map system. On each map can accommodate up to 1,000 students, okay? And those students, they are accommodated by the same map, and you have to get as much territory as possible. Like for this guy, this belongs to one student, and if he wants to occupy this empty land, just click on the land, then the system will assign a probability problem for him to solve. If he solves it correctly, he gets to occupy the land. If he solves incorrectly, then the land remains empty. Okay, and you can see that as your land keeps growing, your land might touch other people's territory, okay? So let's take a look at this. This yellow guy and orange guy, their lands are connected, their territory are connected. So you can, at that time, if your territory is connected to your neighbors, then you can start to occupy his land. Okay, so you can see that this orange guy only have 2 pieces of land left. Okay, if this yellow guy attack this on these 2 and win, then this orange guy is exterminated. Okay. So when I give the speech, some teacher just ask me, wow, then if the person got exterminated, will that affect his confidence? He probably will be very disappointed and frustrated and don't have any will to learn, not willing to learn anymore. I said, don't worry, because we have another map, okay? Once this guy is terminated, he will be reborn on another map with a bunch of people who were previously exterminated, okay? So they will live happily, peacefully, ever. Okay. And with the land, because once you have the land will generate fortune, the money, okay? So what do? We have a shop. You can buy different monsters, okay? This monster is a price of 500, 700, 900, okay? You can buy monster and you can drag it and put it on the land, okay? How does it help you? Let's say if I deploy 3 monsters on one of my land, if my neighbor try to attack that land, these 3 monsters will each assign a problem for the person to solve. Okay, so the end he has to solve these all 3 problems correctly, then he can get my land. Okay, so basically you can use this monster to defend your own territory. Okay, and we set different price because if you are a stingy guy, you spend 500 to buy the monster, then that monster will just assign some very stupid, not that stupid, but very easy problem for your enemy to solve. Okay, but if you are willing to pay more, you pay 900, then the monster will come up with a much more difficult problem. But the problem is, our RD team consists of students from National Taiwan University EE department and computer science department. We don't have students from economic department. So we set the price, we set the price in a reasonable price. But at the end, after we launched the system for 3 weeks, it turns out students got so much addicted to the game, they get so much land, they got so much money, then they complain, a lot of people complain to me, hey, Professor Ye, your game have an inflation problem. Okay, they have too much money, and they have bought all the monsters they can buy, but still they have so much money. Okay, so we figure how to solve this problem. So it ends up that we release other type of monster. They have the same feature, but they look much more beautiful. And we tell the students, say, wow, this price is 5,000, it's for collection purpose. Okay, and then still bought it. Okay, so that's at certain level we solve that problem. Okay, but in our next version, we must include students from our economic department to help us solve this problem. Okay. And we also have the worldwide ranking. So they get to know that for this probability, who is the top 10 of players. So this guy has solved nearly 228 problems That's why Coursera is very sharp like this, because a lot of students, when they took Coursera courses or MOOC courses, they only want to watch video, and they don't really want to do homework problems. And then Coursera saw this. They found that our system can let students solve around 200 problems. That's make them very surprised. So that's why, this is the student's comment. Okay, one of the students wrote to me. He said, "It's been a great pleasure to come back dorm room solving problem sets right after my school time every day." This is insane, right? This is really insane, okay? And then another student wrote to me that with Pokemon, mom does not need to worry about me not studying hard anymore, okay? So Coursera is very surprised and very impressed. So that's why Coursera wrote an article on their official blog, okay? He said, "Why one professor created the world's first ever social game platform for a MOOC," okay? So this is what I do, okay? And I really had fun in the previous the previous 3 years. I have been working on this kind of thing, okay? And I think today there's something I think I wish I knew when I was 20, and something I probably want to share with you. Okay, I think the first thing I want to share with you is that I want you to find your own talent. Okay, let me share a story with you. I graduated from Chengguo High School, and at that time I was very lucky. I entered the 数理自由班 class. A group of students with a special gift. They just gifted students in science and math. They just grouped into a class. So I was in that. Okay, and I don't know. Okay, this is in a tape recording, but anyway, at that time, during my 3 years of high school, somehow I feel that I feel that I'm probably the smartest guy in my classroom or in our class, okay? And because I don't see other classmates, I feel smarter than I do, okay? But when I entered the math department of NTU, okay, I was really shocked because there were 3 guys. One of the guys, I think 2 of them got medalists in IMO, Math Olympiad. Okay, these 3 guys are very sharp. Like when the professor is teaching some important theory in calculus or in that course, I was still trying to understand the description, what the professor just said. Those guys already know what the proof is all about. I'm really shocked because, in my 20 years of my life, I haven't seen people smarter than I do. But now all of a sudden, I saw 3 people smarter than I do. This is very shocking to me. And I was very depressed. For probably 3 months or so. But then I realized something. Well, I found that this guy, these 3 guys, one of the guys has very lousy English, okay? And one of the guys, he even got lower grade in a math course than I do, okay? And so, at that time, I finally realized people have different capability, okay? It's not like in the high school. In the high school, we always see some people like, this person is good looking, and you also do very well in the coursework, and you also do very well in basketball, right? He's an all-around guy, right? So it's like this. When you play a game, we have see people like Pentagon, right? Like this, okay? But that's very simple. Like in the college, this is no longer truth, okay? Because in the high school, you can be a Pentagon because the high school schoolwork is not that difficult. If you want to master all coursework, it's not that difficult. And also, like if you do well in sport, that's not difficult either. And if you want to have a good looking, usually in your teens, usually you are not out of shape, okay? Generally, people are not that bad looking, okay? So it's not that difficult to have a Pentagon. But once you get into college, you start to eat a lot of fast food, right? Okay? You get out of shape, and it's not. And also, the coursework in the college is not that easy. So it's not that easy anymore for you to have a very good performance on all aspects. Okay, so don't get frustrated because I often see students when they get into like the EE department. NTU EE is one of the top ranked departments. So students we have 200 students, but some students got ranking like rank 200 in the midterm exam or after midterm or final exam. They got very frustrated. Don't ever feel frustrated when you get to college like that, okay? because we have 200 people. Somebody has to get that position, right? But the point is, the important thing is find your talent. Okay, find the one aspect that you are much better than other people. Okay, and concentrate on that one. During those 4 years of college, make it even better and better and better. And this is what I want you to be at the end when you graduate from college. Okay, that will be your super talent. That's how you will compete, how you will win other people, how you will define yourself after you leave the campus or leave the college. Okay, find your talent. I think that's very important. And how do you find your talent? How do you know what thing you do best? You have to try a lot of things. Okay, try explore as many things as possible. Okay, that's very important. And another thing I want to share with you is, you guys are all very good in research or in scientific research and all kinds of things, but in academic things. But I want you to remember there are other things worth exploring other than your profession, other than academic. Okay, before I go to when I go to the Michigan for PhD, before I went to Michigan, I'm a very good student. I keep my grade very well. Okay, and when I go to Michigan, because I found that originally I feel that I will work in US for a while. So I feel that I need to know how to get along well with America. So I spent a lot of time working together, studying together with my American friend. And my American friend, one day he invited me to go to his apartment. He said he's going to throw a party. He invited me to go over. I was really excited because not many Taiwanese students get to invited to join America's party. So I went there. I was very excited. I want to see what American party is all about. So I went there. Man, people are talking very happily. Okay, they are chatting very happily. But I feel that I just couldn't get into a conversation. They were talking about Britney Spears and all kinds of singers. Those in my opinion at the time, I feel those pop music are junk. I should only concentrate on academic things. I shouldn't waste time. So when they talk about those music, I couldn't discuss with them. Okay, so I can only listen to them. And then there's a guy next to me. Okay, it seems that he wants to say something to me. So I say, oh, this is my chance to have a conversation with somebody. But I thought, what can I say to him? What can I say? You know what I say to him? I say, oh yeah, the Fourier transform the professor taught today is very difficult, the Fourier transform, blah, blah, blah. And then that guy just heard about Fourier transform and he just looked at me very strangely, and then he just found an excuse. Oh, that guy is calling me. Sorry. So during the whole party, nobody wants to talk to me. I can only stand there listening to other people. That's the first time in my life I found that I'm very poor. Okay, I only know professional things. I only know academic things. I only know the only conversation I can start with is Fourier transform. How pathetic, really pathetic. Okay, and the even worse is that if you don't have any topic to talk to other people, as long in America, as long as you can drink beers, you can still make good friends with other people. But the problem is, I don't know how to drink. Okay, because my mom said a good student shouldn't drink. Okay, so I said alcohol. Wow, that's evil. I shouldn't touch that. Okay, and even worse, I'm allergic to beer. Okay, so when the American guys come to me, hey, cheers, I said, I'm sorry, I'm allergic to beer. It looks so lame. So this is something I want to tell you. Other than your professional things, other than your academic things, there are other things in your life you should explore during your college years. Otherwise, if you only know your professional thing, academic thing, you will not be able to survive after you leave the college. Okay? And I think another thing I want you to remember is the world you are facing. Like, this is something I always tell my students. I tell them I feel sympathetic to them because I think the world you guys are going to face is a very different world. Like in the old days, when people experience some problem, let's say the economy is in recession, people can go to the history. They can go to the 1920s and 30s to figure out how to get out of it. But now they cannot, because the world you guys are facing is very different from the world in the history. The level of globalization, the level of the number of population, and all kinds of the climate problems and everything. This never appeared in the history. So when you have a problem in the future, it's not easy for you to find the answer in the history. You have to totally on your own. And you can see that the world is changing very fast. Like 5 or 6 years ago, Nokia, take Nokia for example, Nokia is like a big giant in the telecommunication. But 5, 6 years later, now it is sold to Microsoft, right? Things change very fast. So how do you survive in this world? It's not about knowledge. It's about whether you have the confidence and the capability to face the world that's full of challenge and uncertainty. I want you to keep that in mind. Okay, you have to have the ability to adjust to face all kinds of challenge and uncertainty. That defines how you can survive in the future. Okay, I think I'm running out of time, and I'll just quickly mention this, and I will not give that many stories anymore. And then the fourth thing is that you have to remember, you have to teach yourself, train yourself, because as I mentioned, once you leave the campus, the world you are facing is a very different world, and it keeps changing. So in the future, you have the ability to keep doing the self-learning, self-teaching, to learn the new things that help you to survive in the world. So if you don't have the ability to teach yourself, to train yourself, you will not be able to survive. That's also very important. And finally, I think you need to find the pleasure in whatever you do, and thus you have the passion. Okay, I have a lot of fun in doing what I do, so that's why I feel that I can achieve a lot of cool stuff. If I don't have passion, I will not be able to accomplish any of those. Okay? Oh, and here's another one. Don't afraid to dream big. Okay? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again to Professor Ye for the very inspiring but also entertaining presentation. 非常谢谢叶老师，非常有趣，但是呢又很感动人心的分享。那么我们接下来要欢迎的是卢超群董事长来跟我们做分享。Now we would like to welcome Dr. Nicky Liu also to give us his presentation. 我们掌声欢迎。
Hi everybody. How are you? Fine? Okay. I'll give you another 30 minutes for my lectures. First, I'm very happy to see that Taiwan hosts such an international conference or meetings or fair so that so many people can get together from the globe. First, I'd like to thank the fair and Dr. Zhu for the invitation. I'm very delighted to respond to his request to share my personal experience how to apply science and technology results I discovered in the lab to building a company. And now I'm leading the Global Semiconductor Alliance and the Taiwan Semiconductor Industry Association. And I'm still devoted to science and technology, but I can apply to my learnings to real benefits for the industry and for human beings. So in my talk, there are several battlefields. That doesn't mean that I encourage wars, but I encourage another war for human beings to unite together to fight against the survival and growth of the earth. I think we get a big problem for this earth. As Professor Ye said, we get more people, but we want everybody, for more people, to be happier. And we saw the frozen lava falls, and in my talk I show you several nature phenomena, and all waiting for human beings to solve the problems. But the problem has to be solved really fundamentally, not necessarily by politicians, but by science and technology. So I think you is not only the future, also for your career, one day you'll need certain group of people to help people. So my talk will be to face the 21st century, Professor Ye gave me pretty good background. Everything changed. So only thing unchanged is things change. So I want you, try to persuade you in your career to set to be a warrior and hero based on science and technology. And American, after Steve Jobs, they have new hero, Elon Musk. He found a car called Tesla, electric car. And I was surprised to see that he has SpaceX. So he's the first commercial company which can launch the rocket. In addition to other countries still use government force to launch the rocket. Of course, I hope one of you become even more wise and great than Einstein. Why we have to do this? Because, look, all the effort is trying to make our home better. There is only one Earth in the universe. The universe has 10 over 80 stars, but we have only one Earth. And now people found it's not called universe. Universe should have been duplicated by God for multiverse. So we have one home. That's why we have to make Earth so good. Okay, sorry. Still learn to use this. Ooh. Hey, remember once this Earth was governed by dinosaurs. Of course, right now it's us, human beings species. I think we may be better, but at least now, by now, the dinosaurs live longer on Earth than we are. But why human beings are progressing well? I think because we know how to make tools. In addition, we have brains. In addition, we have soul. In addition, we have passion. And in addition, we have creativity. I think those 5 things are the gifts from God. Although you're a scientist, I'm a scientist, I strongly believe in God, but because I don't know how the multiverse can operate with today's very limited knowledge of human beings. So creativity leads us to today, after 21st century. So who is the wise man and the most respected guy in the Chinese history? You know, I want to show you. Not this guy, okay? Zhuge Liang, okay? Foreigner, you remember this is Zhuge Liang, okay? You talk to Chinese, you say, you know Zhuge Liang, okay?
准备放箭！我的大败让你向丞相请罪。
不怪你的，活在笼中之时，就是男丁有驱兽之法。此次南征，宜备下破此阵之物，明日带我前去迎战。
是。
He said he knows beforehand, so he made something. That's what your scientists need to do. To know beforehand. Proactive. Zhuge Liang invented the war tanks. Imagine this is the 2nd century. Okay? In the Western history, many people coming from, all the countries. Of course, my hero is Da Vinci. Da Vinci is not only a painter, sculptor, musician, scientist, mathematician, and engineer and inventor. So that's also corresponds to what Professor Ye asked for. I hope you will be multidisciplinary scientists and technologists. You know some other things which will help you to develop good things for your career and your talents. So I liked it. This is another tank machine drawing by him. And this is a helicopter. But amazing is, look at this lady. Every day, not every day, every time I watch it, I feel that lady smile at me. How can you do it? Right? This is a long time ago. And then, this last dinner of Jesus with disciples. And people up to today still try to discover where Da Vinci hid some mysteries behind his pens. I certainly believe he did, because I certainly think he's smarter than me and maybe Professor Ye. So, we are so lucky, and we also hit the tool we made. So, everybody in this room take a computer as for granted. Not only that, we're getting to this guy's life. Look at that, 4C invention: computer, communication, control, and car, which is so many. I think our life is better than Zhuge Liang. But on the other hand, there are so many challenges like Professor Ye face us. We have to be smarter, or at least we have to learn to be smarter and be proactive than Zhuge Liang in our life. So, what you saw is 4C you're living in, and you use iPhone. I can claim that Steve Jobs know one technology so well. That's my 30 years devotion after I graduated from Taiwan University. I have luck to meet one guy who teach me, said, world has a new technology called semiconductor. I am so glad I listened to that professor lectures without sleep, without falling into sleep. I tell you, one in your life, you will not able to meet one or few guys who will change your life. So every day you meet people, you meet a respected guy like Professor Ye, and you got to catch that opportunity. Catching opportunity is one thing I think you have to learn in addition to science and technology, because that guy may change your life because his vision, because his way. I was changed, so I selected Stanford to be my next PhD study. But what is semiconductor? People knows insulator, knows conductor. If you don't know it, if you use finger to touch the electric wire, you're shocked. That's electrons shocking to your skins. And semiconductor is a material people know a long time ago. You know, maybe 18th century, people already vaguely know. Until 21st century, the last decade, last few decades, 1970 actually. You know, semiconductor is a material. Today, most popular is silicon. But future could be germanium, could be gallium arsenide, many materials. So many people familiar with chemistry. That's fundamental contributions because people use silicon. It's a sand. I know people from Arab, Egypt use so many sands, gold, and Intel know how to use those gold and cents to become, chips, which change your life, change my life. So, very simple. Material can change between insulator and conductor based on the human being's control. It's like this. People put on the gate over the silicon material just like a faucet. You turn on the faucet, the electron flow from here to here. That's digital information 1. If you don't turn off the faucet, nothing flows. Digital 0. Very simple. Human beings so smart. 0 and 1 can combine to make today's computer. But I think God must tell us more than 0 and 1. So I think future computer, nobody invented yet how to use more digits to create future machines, not just 0 and 1. So people put this transistor on a manufacturing process called wafer, and there are so many designs here on this transistor. Let the current flow, electron flow. It's just like designer who designed the electricity, the light bulb in every household in a city. Like Taiwan, in Taipei City, we have probably 2 million households, and each household has 10 faucets. Some faucet turn on water flow, some faucet didn't. If you are, the controller of whole faucet, it's make you look like a god. You saw all the pattern transfer. That's computer. That's why I like ICs. I feel God gave me gift, and I can pretend to be His servant and to control the things like God. So that's ICs. And today, Taiwanese produce the 20% of ICs in the world. Imagine a small island, 30 years ago, has nothing in high tech. But the government, the scientists, and technologists like me, and love our country, love our island, and we make things happen. Now we are number 3 in the world, and most dense IC producer in terms of population density in the whole world. So I believe beyond ICs, you go back to your country, you can discover something. Maybe you improve your country, people's life so significantly, like I am so proud that I did something. Integrated circuits. So today, you use all these things, storage, you use cloud, you use iPhone, you use computer. But bottom line, inside there are integrated circuits. Send. The God makes sense become our most powerful material.
The doorman asked me, "Where are you from, poor sir?" And I replied, "West Point." He remarked, "It's a beautiful place. Have you ever been there before?" Duty, honor, country. Those 3 hallowed words reverently dictate what you ought to be, what you can be, and what you will be. They are your rallying points. They give you a temper of the will, a quality of the imagination, a vigor of the emotions, a freshness of the deep springs of life, a temperamental predominance of courage over timidity, an appetite for adventure over love of ease. In this way, they will teach you to be an officer and a gentleman. From your ranks come the great captains who will hold a nation's destiny in their hands the moment the war tocsin sounds. The long gray line has never failed us. Were you to do so, 1,000,000 ghosts in olive drab, in brown khaki,
in blue and gray would rise from their white crosses, thundering those magic words: duty, honor, country.
This is my hero, and in wars, a soldier, a general, and a hero born. In the integrated circuits technology industry, I don't know which industry you working in, but I believe researchers, inventors, and entrepreneurs are heroes of creation. These three gentlemen create the transistor I showed you, changing the world. 1956 Nobel Prize given to the Nobel Lab. The three people invented. Actually, that invention viewed from today is nothing but exploration and curiosity and creation and the repeated research, like we imagine ourselves as a soldier in the difficult task, continue to suffer loneliness and continue to suffer other people are successful, but we're still in the lab. But I think that's the most valuable time of my life, golden time, because I can do something. These three people are lucky guys. And these three people founded Intel. I'm glad that Intel support is fair. I didn't know that, but this gentleman found the Intel. The important is that people take the science results, immediately apply to technology. And only 3 decades, you got everything like what this gentleman generated. Steve Jobs, everybody know him. And he was once very successful building Apple, but then he had 20 years difficult time. He lost his company, collapsed. He went to Hollywood to make a superstar. Later on, he mixed the arts and the science and technology, and he built a company called Steve Jobs Company, Steve Jobs Apple. And so I hope you also, have that kind of wish, no matter how difficult you will face, but you continue to move on. And I think better life is his target, and better life is my target. I hope better life is for your target. So anyway, in my career, I view myself, I hate the war, but I take the war as an example. I help people to be better, have better life. I'm a general and a soldier, as a researcher, inventor, and entrepreneur, which is correspondent to the general and hero. So, besides honor, duty, and country, General MacArthur told us that I'm talking about the corresponding for an entrepreneurship, wisdom, strength, and customary and humanity. So, I think most rewarding career could be truth finding, value creation, and people think, like in today's Taiwan society, some say high-tech guy is just millionaire who didn't do anything. And actually it's the opposite. I hope in the future you share your wealth with these people. There are 7 billion people. Many wealth need to be shared. And you are the guy. You will become rich. I can imagine that. But remember what I told you. So, my career, I think most important things for me after so many years, I think is the vision and wish. Today I made the decision 1959. This is my parents. That time is this propelling airplane. Took my father to the United States to study his expertise mining. And then he came back after 1 year. I haven't seen my father 1 year. He brought back to me some very interesting toys, electronic toys. I heard my father told me that, one day if you are capable, you'll go there. This different world. Where I'm in Taiwan, this is me. This is my brother. Now my brother just last year won the Taiwan Presidential Award in science. So we be encouraged by people. You may not be encouraged by your parents, may be encouraged by teachers like Professor Ye, may be encouraged by some friends. find somebody which can let you be the model. And so you move toward the positive directions. So I studied very hard. I think we had a lot of competition in the classroom of the Taiwan University in the electrical engineering department. And I'm glad I, get the Stanford Fellowship. These three gentlemen teach me not only the courses, but also Stanford pioneered the entrepreneurship classes starting my year, 1980. By the way, all our classmates met today from Taiwan University. In the past, we are competing. That's very good. Competition is very good. Benchmarking is very good. But we joke ourselves, 30, 40 years ago, we are competing who is the number one. Now, all of us fighting the new target. In the same class reunion, we decided to fight. Who is the last one to see everybody gone? Oh, you didn't smile. Sorry, you didn't listen. Okay, you may be the number one in your classroom, but imagine you compete with your classmates. You may dislike that guy, but many years later, you find a new target. You want to see who is the last one to leave the earth. And that's what I'm saying. If the human beings have broadened life, and your view is different, humans help humans because at least we are a better species than dinosaurs, right? So later I picked up the company. That time is it's top on the research. Today it's still so, IBM. And I didn't give up any minutes. Very lucky to meet a woman to marry. I get 2 boys, but I spend most of the time in research lab. I invent these things called DRAM, and the 3-dimensional DRAMs. I invented many circuits. I'm not going into the details, but I'm just trying to tell you, your first career is related to, like my case, related to my 6-year-old dream. I'm surprised. Even up to today, I'm talking to you, my recent achievements are still look like was my dream back to 6 years old. So you got to have some dream. You got to know what's your talents. You got to know. You move a straight ahead toward realizing your dream. I dream come. I developed a lot of inventions. I won the IBM corporate award within 7 years. That's pretty good. But I want to apply to it. You are a scientist, you're a technologist. Your most worry is that your discovery was never appreciated by others. You say, I don't care about a lot of people appreciate it. I don't think so. I think you should do something. Let other people appreciate it. And then your things be populated in the human being's life and improve other people's life. So Taiwanese, back to 1991, as I told you, they have second-rated, I will say third-rated semiconductor industry in this island. But they decided, we decided to move on. That's very important. The government recruit people, but this time they don't go to IBM or Intel and say, hey, I want to license your technology. This time they trust their young people. And the young people can be trusted. Who is that young people? Me. The Morris Chen, chairman of TSMC, now the multi-billion-dollar company, interviewed me in New York, said, you can do the job, but I don't want DRAM experts. So your value to me is 50%. I say, okay, 50% is still valuable. So you want me to do something, I want something from you, I want to build up my company. So I told IBM I decided to build my own company using my learnings, not your IP. I built it because it will be very helpful to you. Today, Yitron and also Taiwanese sell a lot of chips to IBM. IBM executive, even 70-year-old boss. That time, when I was with IBM, he's 50 maybe. He came to Taiwan, had his marriage. I'm glad to see he's still so encouraged by marriage. And he said, Nicky, I want you to come to my wedding in Taiwan. So IBM is happy with me because that company, I think, is great. They respect human beings. I took this opportunity, founded my company. As I said before, don't miss your opportunity. You are scientists, not only discover new things, you discover the most important thing in your life, the opportunity which is best for your talent. I got it. I came back to found the eTron. I didn't run a company before, but I designed my chips for Taiwanese. I make the Taiwanese 6-inch wafer to become 8-inch wafers within 4 years. We caught up the American and Japanese leading role, and now I believe we will moving up. And a lot of American companies depending on Taiwanese sourcing the foundry and the design. So I'm not trying to tell you how, because everybody is you have your life. But I tell you why. That means you have to select doing the right thing before you make yourself doing things right. So I did. Then I succeeded in leading the eTron technology, today specialty DRAM and many other things, products. I built so many companies, different features, different characters, and all they public in Taiwan. So I'm very pleased that I can hire 1 people as my employee. In IBM, they give me resource to hire people. But today, I use my own efforts to hire people. And those people's family, we have thousands of workers. I just came back from China yesterday. We have 1,000 workers there. They have banquet before the Chinese New Year. I can give my award to that employee. That's great life. I'm a scientist still, but that's great life, to apply the science to the real stuff. Anyway, this is today's eTron. We want to do many products, the DRAM, just like a brand. The USB 3.0 to transmit the signal fast enough inside the Intel system. That's like a nurse. And we have webcam controller like this strange guy, wear the different glasses, then we can do the gesture control. And then we have USB controller, flash controller that make like a thumb drive. And we have also fiber optics to transmit the signal through the optic, not the electrons, photons. That's what you can decide it. I think the first 2 decades of the human beings in the 21st century, we cannot only rely on electrons. We could burn too much power. We have to rely on electrons to trigger the photons, and photon transmit a signal like you are familiar today, like fiber optics transmit signal to your iPhone. But there are many, many more things photon can do, the light source. And then we develop many other things, saving power, and then the things. And I want to show you one product we are doing now. It's remote control. And that's the future, the way that human beings communicate with machines. Look at, sorry. We have to repeat it. Sorry. Okay, look at this guy. This guy has a robot on the table. He rotates his chairs. The robot didn't falling off because he moved back, the robot come and push back. It's all the human-machine interaction. Of course, you can use this skill, these chips, to make the amusement games. Okay, you can control many buttons through your fingers. You can have these virtual reality glasses. One of the communication way, today we use glass touch on the panel. Steve Jobs lead that science to become popular tools. In the future, if I want to control this screen, I don't need to use this one. I can use my finger. Because 2 glasses, look at it. That glass is made by CMOS sensors. So we're proud this year we make this into the product now. And the eTron new product. Look at that, the toy jump around. Yeah, please. So our product is smaller than a $100 bill, It's so small. Look at this. Look at this. This is so small. It's not like you play games in front of many complicated game machine, and that game machine through semiconductor ICs now become as smaller and thinner than this one, which I believe 2 years later will be in your handheld devices, so you can play. You don't need to touch on the screen. Sometimes you borrow other people, the iPad. You don't want to pull out the to wipe it, right? You touch on it, but you don't know what you touch. There, here is billions of the germs, right? So I think that's great for eTron, and our employees still work day and night to make this technology become world top technology. I tell you, this size, this form factor is the world best. Now I tell you, because you're coming to Taiwan, what Taiwan is doing, Taiwan RC using our strength in the integrated circuits. We want to collaborate with your countries or your scientists, come to Taiwan and we communicate. We have the manufacturing capability, and we want to make the 4C ubiquitously everywhere. 6:30 in the morning, same guy. CMOS sensor, multiprocessor, many things, RF. Important is for the medical. Taiwan is now combined the hospital and the chip to let your heartbeat, blood pressure can be transmitted to the doctor's office. You don't need to see him. They monitor your blood flow every day. That's the way for doing health control, medical health system. We're doing that. Taiwan is doing that, but we want many countries to come. We provide IC, or you provide IC, we communicate. Let everybody have new products to improve human life. Car will not bump car because a lot of alarm system exists. Oh, I love this. The lady's father sitting there after his retirement life. He's here better. His life is continuous. Happily. Send a signal to the hospital. Tell us to monitor. As new baby comes. Wonderful, we monitor many things.
Sand and dust storms hit a large portion of northern and northeastern China for the second consecutive day on Thursday. Cities have been blanketed in yellow clouds, disrupting transportation. The sandstorms hit Jinlin and Heilongjiang provinces in the northeast on Wednesday night, carrying huge amounts of dust. The local weather bureau has rated the air quality hazardous and advised people to stay home, keeping windows closed and wearing masks if they have to go outside.
Okay, I'm not boasting Taiwan and blaming China. I have no that interest, and I think it's just one region, one country. We don't use the technology right. The carbon dioxide from cars, and many things happen. Look at that. Okay, it will happen if Taiwan is not careful. It will happen to you, countries. We don't blame China, but we need to help them to improve it. Human and Earth, what happened? That's what I want you to solve the real problem for the 21st century. Oh, look at this. This is a nice picture. Niagara Falls become frozen. On one hand, we talk about global warming, but global warming may bring in this year the worst cold weather to United States. Niagara Falls, you know, the officer from Canada office, right? That's, oh boy, this is nice, but you worry about behind it, right? So, a lot of things we can do. Of course, you're coming to Taiwan this week. I told you, we still have this natural beauty. You should tour it around. But all I want to emphasize, your country is more beautiful, maybe. You got to do something, although you're young. But you can invest in a lot of things to make things happen. Now Taiwanese appreciate we cannot have only integrated circuits. We need to read this. Look at this. So we are fighting very hard to balance between pollution and the technology. I think science technology is the only solution. So anyway, come to Taiwan. Taiwanese learn Chinese. Everybody learn, but we have one word. Yeah, I'm almost done. As long as one study hard, good jobs and golden house shall come. And I present this in US. Actually, we have even better words. As long as one study hard, there will be beauty coming out of books. My employees, when I walk around my lab, sometimes they are so worried. I said, do you like your design, those transistors? I look at those transistors. They are just like beauties walking close to me. Everyone, you have a chance. You have to love what you are doing. I believe that's redundant because you are here to compete for science and technology. You love what you are doing. But I want to tell you, you should have passion for this human beings and species. Yes, on one hand, we develop technology to improve our life. Everybody in this room, you are lucky among the 7 billion people. You touch computer, you invent a new thing. So you have responsibility, and that's what I want to deliver today. In your life, in your career, make the decision. The highest wish is that you help people with your talents. So, what I think, I encourage you because you're still young, you're moving toward college, university, graduate study, your face career selections, but very simple summary. Be a hero of yours and the human beings. You will be if you move toward that direction. And scientific research, repeated search, find what God has already created and we haven't found. And use that one because you can do research. You have talent, you have brain, you have creativity. It's a power recipe for your career growth and for other people, career growth. So research is like a soil. You can be professor. Next. You can be my heroes, like this guy. This is the professor which told me semiconductor. That time I was 22 years old. I haven't chance to leave Taiwan because I have to serve my military service. Then I can leave Taiwan. Imagine one kid had never gone to overseas. And later on today, I founded many companies, had technology, even can be competing worldwide. Because this guy told me. He's Professor Z of National Science, Chiao Tung University of Hsinchu. And these are my good friends. You know, CEO, Broadcom, Marvell, NVIDIA. All these people apply their research results to industry. They build out their own company. One day you could be that if you're doing your research hard. And you can be this executive. I think the Intel top executive, Andy Grove, and Taiwanese hero, TSMC CEO and executive, Morris Chen. Even he today is 82 years old. He still lives like a 60. And I'm the chairman of the TSIA, Taiwan Semiconductor Industrial Association. He is the honorary chair. So every month I have to see him to report whether I did something good for Taiwanese semiconductor. But last time I told I'm doing something good for Taiwanese human beings. He is very happy. And in the coming May, we will host another World Semiconductor Council. All the semiconductor leaders come to Taiwan, have the top tier premier conference to decide what semiconductor need to do. I promoted the growing of the industry, but doing good things for human beings. Who? You. Although this is look like Caucasian boys, but I'm trying to ask them to find many guys like that. Every country has that kind of guy, right? That guy or girl. Right? Wonderful. So I finished my talk. I hope you receive my message. I cannot tell you what you are going to do because you know how to do your job better than I do. But I learned one thing to share experience. You know, pick up the opportunity. It's because you set up your mind. You want to be your hero. You want to do something good for human beings. That kind of dream can make you continuous sitting in the lab to find something. Maybe you may fail. You may not become like a famous, but you know you are really a hero of human beings. Some people are members. We never know that, but they discover something which help us. I hope you are that kind of guy, and you have that kind of passion. Thank you very much for listening to my talk.
Thank you, Dr. Lu. 再次谢谢卢董事长。我们请卢董事长留步，我们待会即将进行问答的时间。So we will now open up the floor for Q&A with Professor Ye and also Dr. Lu. 我们同时也请叶秉成老师，我们到台上来。所以我们接下来是问答时间，我们大概有大约20分钟的时间，让现场的老师还有同学们可以针对刚刚听到的分享来提出问题。We will now open the floor for Q&A. We have about 20 minutes, so please seize the opportunity to raise any questions you may have for our two speakers. And please just put your hand up, and we will hand you a microphone. 接下来就让现场的同学们、老师也可以提问，有任何的问题，针对我们刚才叶老师还有卢董事长的分享，都可以提出来。So do we have any questions from the floor? Please just put your hand up. 我们最后面一排有同学有问题，我们是不是可以请工作人员帮我们递一下麦克风？
我是陈庆峰。来自新竹的实验高中。那我想请问一下那个叶教授，就是我一直听，就是你刚才说你的那个学生成长过程，一直都是那个比较像数理方面，就是在成长。那我想问一下说，那你在就是设计这些课程的时候，因为其实我感受到，就是你在设计这些课程的时候，内含有很多心理学的，或者是像游戏设计，为了让它更吸引人。那我想知道说你，这个部分是不是也有做过一些类似的，就是研究或者学习，才能
创造出这么多有趣的教学模式。谢谢。
好，谢谢。我想，就像那个卢博士、卢董事长讲，我觉得我们做很多的东西，其实是为了要帮助人更好。好，那我觉得其实也不见得一定要做什么研究才能够做什么事情。其实像对我来讲，我觉得我做很多事情是我花很多时间可能去观察人，观察。好，那就比如说我在教课的时候，我会花很多时间去观察学生的反应。啊，所以就是我觉得这是一个我们做一个科学家或者 research 也是很重要一件事情。我们不能够只在我们自己世界里面，我们也要去观察我们这个社会，观察这个人，然后对人要有感觉。所以我觉得这可能我觉得这个是我自己觉得我做的可能还在这方面我觉得我比较有一点 sense， 就是说我可以感觉得到我做一件事情或者别人会有什么反应。那包括我们上次刚才有时候叫大人去跟小学生简报也是这个样子。我希望他们要学会从小学生的角度来看他们自己的东西。我觉得这是我们现在很多人欠缺的一个能力，就是他们欠缺从别人的角度看自己东西的能力，以至于做很多东西可能有时候是自我感觉良好，但是做出来却没有什么用。好，所以如何去常常去观察人对各式各样的事情的反应，然后进而建立自己对这种事情的 sensitivity， knowing how people will see your work. I think that's very important. 好，所以这个是可能是 years of observation， 好，慢慢建立这样的 sense。OK， 好，谢谢。
Thank you, Professor Ye. Thank you. 谢谢我们刚才新竹的同学。Just a quick recap. The question was on how Professor Ye designs his courses because he has a background in science, and it seems like issues or psychology needs to be involved when Professor Ye is designing his courses. And Professor Ye highlighted that it's very important to observe people, to put yourselves in other people's shoes, to engage others, other than just doing research work. And that's why he is able to think about how to design his courses. So I think we will open up the floor for our next question. 我们下一个问题，这边有一位同学。
Hello, I'm Xie Guan from Jianguo Senior High School, and I'd like to ask a question to Dr. Lu. I'm curious about that. I heard that you researched in IBM for years, and so I'm curious about that if there is a difference between researching in a company and researching in a university. Thanks.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think research has nothing different, but in industry, the research has to get the return on investment. So the things got to be applied immediately to products or helping the company. Although that time IBM is pretty rich, so he decided to take some money to let the scientists to do something which we don't know that time whether it's useful or not. Actually, the case I showed that the Bell Labs inventor to discover the transistor, they already carry over such kind of program 20 years ago. But that time, American telephone company has certain privilege. So they can make a lot of money. They have to allocate certain money for research. On university side, because the country or some private university trustees anyway will support the student to study doing research. So professor getting much more freedom to do something. I think that's good, but sometimes it's bad because you do some research, you don't know whether it's useful to human beings or useful to something, something to go too wild. So my suggestion is everything we did research, maybe in my rule, some rule of thumb, in university maybe 60% for research, 40% for something you have specific goal for 5 years or 10 years, or even shorter. And in industry, maybe a little bit different. I think depending on every company different. And like IBM at that time, I worked for IBM CEO. I advise they should invest probably 10% to 20% of their research source. Let the people go, wildly. But the other 80% may be related to their development laboratory, product, sales marketing division. But for researcher, as you, as me, I think we cannot do everything. We need to smartly select something we know we can do it, we can discover something. But how? You don't know. Something hasn't been discovered. My professor, 82 years old, just retired last month, is a guru of semiconductor from Stanford, then Georgia Tech. Professor Jim Midle teach me something I can transfer to you today. When I graduated with my PhD, I went to see my professor. That time he's 50 maybe. He said, Mickey, tell me and write down what you want to say within 30 words, at most, not exceeding 40 words, what you want to do for your career next 3 years. It's a very difficult job because I can write one page what I want to do. But he said 30 words. Professor is professor, he's my boss. I went back for studying, research, understand my talents, and what Professor Ye said, understanding environments, understanding the competition, understanding what kind of job I can have. I have job from, Intel, IBM, Dell Labs, and what I want to do. I wrote the 30 words. Went back to see Jim Midle. He said, okay, Nicky, you want to discover important invention or phenomena in semiconductors, and you want to become a leading scholars and researchers, and then entrepreneurs. He said, you, first step, leave Silicon Valley. Give up the warm weather. Go to IBM research. Even up to now, I'm still appreciated because into IBM research, they have a lot of invention. Sorry, I didn't say Intel didn't have, but if I stay in Silicon Valley, I'm too comfortable. Intel treat me very well. I even see the Andy. But I went to IBM. It's so cold. That's winter. And I came from Taiwan boy. It's so countryside. I'm city kid. But I adjusted to it. 10 years, I was in the lab. I studied. I made my invention. I think that 10 years is my golden time. Today I'm CEO. I have thousands of workers, but I can immediately touch on his art, touch on his research, because I went through it with 10 years. So anyway, everyone has different career. I just share with you that 30-word wisdom way of thoughts is very precious to me. Today I face very difficult things. I still remember my professor teach me. I sit down, calm down, go back, sleep on the bed, and thinking about whether I have 30 words to describe what I want to do and what I should do. Because that 30 words really is almost exactly like the picture I had my career in IBM for the first 5 years. Amazing. That's what I want you to be a hero. Once you have vision that I'm a science and technology hero, embed into your brain, that God will help you. And one day you become a great hero in science and technology. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Liu. And now we'll take the next question. I think we have a question here to my left-hand side. 我们前面这边是不是可以 Here, and then I think we have a question in the back.
Well, I have a question for Professor Do, or for Dr. Do. Yeah. Well, many successful companies like Apple or Microsoft are able to integrate hardware and software in order to create seamless experiences for the public. However, many Taiwanese companies only concentrate on the components and not on the system itself. How do you plan to change that?
That's an excellent question from the industry guy. I think the situation getting worse because I just came back from the Global Semiconductor Alliance board meeting, and the people showed the data. Even Intel, TSMC throw $10 billion for research development. But the company you mentioned software companies, they all start developing hardware, developing ICs. They have probably 10x or 20x cash in hands. They can do vertically integrated, just like 30, 40 years ago IBM did. And later IBM cannot take the open system concept, so they let the PC, Intel, get certain changes. I think the world is moving, in certain ways, vertically integrated. So in a very narrow mind for Taiwanese industry, I strongly suggest the Taiwanese should build up all the layers from IC chips to devices to even operating system things. But people say you're crazy. Yes, I think my secret is we have so many smart people, talents. We succeed in the foundry job. Foundry job is we do service for you. And beside those big companies, big men, human beings have many other needs. Why don't we build from the horizontal design house and the foundry to let the giant to stand up to become vertical? But we still do foundry, we do service. Anybody, you imagine something new. If you knock on the door on some big name, they say you're too small. Just like 30 years ago, IBM said, I make mainframe. What means by PC? Oh boy, only 1,000 of PC can happen. Human beings are not living like that. We have 7 billion people with active minds. Although some countries poor, maybe the 7 billion people, actually there are only, I imagine that less than 1 billion people like you and me have luck to lead the world. But there are still so many people. So Taiwan should adopt that way. We do service for you. Tell me the idea, system idea. How you help people, for example, transmit medical information from personal wearing to hospitals. It can become very huge. But Taiwanese way, why I come back Taiwan? I told IBM, this is a humble way, doing service. People have problems, and we solve it. Yes, we cannot have the big name, big brand, but why we care? We help people. So Taiwan survive and grow. I think to answer your question, for Taiwanese, I think that's the way. For worldwide, some other country doesn't have high tech, and how you would do it? I think the best way, watch those big guys. They are very difficult to compete at this moment. But you look at many big guys. The God gives the human beings the most gifted gift is that no one can dominate in one field forever. Nothing is forever. So your country, should your talents and going to do something locally but connected to globally. Because you have your own language, you have your own way of living. You can populate that with your science and technology, make economic good. Yes, at the beginning you receive something which you want to change your life, but you reverse. You change their ways of using that. Okay? I think that's doable. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we have one question in the back.
Anyway, from Kilo. I have a very small question. I want to ask Dr. Lu. We see a lot of young men in the world. One day they're in school, and the next day they are young CEOs. So maybe they have garage. They do a lot of things, research in their garage. But in Taiwan, we don't have garage to do our own research. So my question is, do you think any possible in Taiwan we can, the young men can do like Steve Jobs, even they don't finish their study?
Okay, I think that's an excellent question. I think the Professor Ye is more innovative than I am, but I can contribute my way of thinking. I think that's a big issue. I try my best. Next week I will see Minister of Energy. I think Taiwan, although we showed the picture of some IC development, but do we really give some funding freely, ambitiously, and aggressively, let the young people wandering around? I call the, sorry I use war again, but my war is not killing each other, okay? It's a war room. Let them enjoy the life even better than Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs nobody gave them money. Maybe that's another way they succeed. If you don't have money, you don't worry about research. You still can use your brain and passion doing something. But I want to do bigger for Taiwan, so I think they should do it. I saw that my professor, Jim Idle, working for Georgia Tech. How come Georgia Tech, within 10 years, changing from the number 20 university to become competing against Stanford, Illinois, Urbana, look like they exceed them. Sorry, if you are alumni from Urbana-Champaign, University of Illinois, because Georgia Tech invented a new thing. They let people get the lotto, but I heard it's 10% or 20% lotto money was developing to the University of Georgia Tech or other research institutes. And today, Taiwan has lotto. Taiwan has a lot of tax that people submitted to the government. So I already did about a year ago. With your today's question, I will ask them again. Why don't Taiwan is a small island country without science and technology, without certain environment we can cultivate to let young people stay and invent and to discover? I don't think we have a lot of things to stay and help world as an island. Yes, we have beautiful scenery. Yeah, you enjoy yourself. That's not the thing I only give today. So yes, I think that we should take some money resources to give university professor, research institute, or even company, and to build some foundation. Maybe Taiwanese inventor foundation, software, hardware, all kind of things, and let people study. I think it's crazy, right? But you ask the right guy. I'm doing that. But on the other hand, I want to encourage everybody. We are, as researchers, inventors, sometimes we don't have enough money. Like my startup, my company. My money is always limited. I always want more resources, but I tell you, hero. All my drawing hero here is a standalone. My most famous is that the excellent results, research results, coming from loneliness and without enough resources. So if you don't have enough resources, don't worry. The God is fair. You dig it, you find some things which you still can overcome. So the human beings are capability and talents and the execution. I think Professor is really unlimited after I survey. Anybody like you develop that software and do the multi ways of student. I really admire you. That's not much money, right? You cost less money than my silicon professor in Taiwan University. Right? So look at his case. He did some. Yes, something we need more money, more resource to invest in. So please, young students, today I very enjoy your question. If you have more questions, submit to Dr. Chu or directly to me. I think I will do it for you. Maybe not successful, sorry, but I will do it. Okay, thank you.
Maybe I can follow up. I think that a lot right now, like in Taiwan, I think the government, the universities are gradually promoting this. So in NTU recently, the Vice President Chen Yangji, I think a good friend, Dr. Lu, we have a program about NTU Garage. So any student in NTU, they can apply for support. They probably have their own space and their funding support. And not just the university, but I think recently the government has this kind of, a lot of this kind of startup contest. Okay, so you have your own idea, you can go there, and if you win the contest, like at different stage, you can get different amount of sponsorship from the government. You can even waive your military service. Okay, so I think our government is aware of this, but back to your question that you are asking, like, when the student quit their school, can he or she actually do it? I think right now the problem we have right now is that the student, we are lack of story. Okay, like Professor Lu, Dr. Lu has a very good story of his own start, but I think this kind of story is not enough. We don't have more. We should have more stories to convince our young people. Because the young people in US, they can quit their school to start because they have story of Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, but we don't have this kind of story. And a lot of times, probably things are not that difficult. It's just that you don't have the confidence to do it. And we need this kind of story to boost our confidence. So right now, I think hopefully with those support and sponsorship from the government and the university, we hope we can have more successful story. Like for me, my student in my lab, we already spin off. There's a team they spin off to become a company, and they're quite successful. And some of the things we are doing right now, they also have potential to be a startup. So I think right now I have heard and I have seen many professors in this university are interested in this kind of entrepreneurship, and I hopefully we can have more legendary stories from the university, so our young people in the future they have more confidence in doing what they want to do. Yeah.
I want to add one comment. I think it could be very useful. The reason I came back to Taiwan, founded my company instead of staying IBM for my bright career, because I met one guy, that's KT Lee Guoding. Taiwanese may know, this is called the father of high tech. He's 80 years old. I'm 36. He said, you can do the semiconductor national program. I talked to him, and I was so surprised. So today, I told everybody, be a hero. I don't tell you be a successful person. Hero is the one who doesn't have resource. Warrior is the one, well, I didn't say many warrior. A hero is the one who doesn't have any resource. Most of the hero story good enough for human beings to enjoy. It's because originally everybody thinks he will fail. Or he is a poor guy. Or he has nothing. That's the passion I want to give to you today. You are a hero. Hero who changed the things from nothing to many things. That's what I'm sitting here. I'm very loyal to my, semiconductor industry. But important thing, I make Taiwanese the semiconductor industry business with, of course, many, many people like Morris Chan, like many others, nameless people. We made, in the 1990s, I founded my company. Taiwan shipped 0.8%, less than $1 billion. Today, we're shipped $50 to $6 billion, 20% of worldwide shipment. I'm not saying I'm a hero, but I'm saying I enjoy the hero dream. I have nothing at that time. When I came back to Taiwan, I used to lead in IBM 100 PhD to do advanced research with 10 years experience. When I came back here, the Taiwanese leader said, you have this. I look at that. Wow. 100 graduate students just leading their graduate study, master or PhD, with 1 year or 2 year green experience in E3, Urso. Wow, that's a big difference. But we get the 100 people in the room said, we are poor guys. We want to be heroes. And let everybody greeting each other. We'll chase after American technology. Someday we'll build something which we are proud of. 4 years. Those young men, not only me, I just give the direction. 100 people, young people, graduate from Taiwan University, good education. And by the way, they don't want to join the rich company which gives them stock options. They want to be heroes. We're poor. They make a limited salary. Okay? But we make the history. Today, Taiwanese face a big problem because the other countries use extremely high salary to take away our talents. I'm not blaming everybody chasing after money, but I think the real hero that Taiwanese need, the world needs, is the guy who thinks money is enough, but I create more money, more wealth for other people. That's the hero. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. We are running out of time. I think we will take one last question for our two speakers. Here, 前面大概第4排这边有一个问题。
I'm Zhang Yuan, and I came from Tainan First Senior High, and I have a question to Professor Ye. That you told us that to dream big and like Dr. Ru said that to be a hero. And so I did have a big dream, and I want to be a hero. That I watched a movie which is Iron Man, and he's a superhero. And my dream is to create an armor like that, but everyone thinks I'm insane and told me that it is impossible. So I want to ask that what should I do to achieve the dream?
Okay, so you're I'm thinking about, because like in electrical engineering, we have many different areas. We have 10 areas. So like me, I'm in communication, and somebody is in semiconductors, and we have different areas. So I think, for if you want to fulfill your dream, I think electrical engineering department at NTU is a good choice for you. Okay, you get to see many technology from different fields. Okay, but you are the person, you have to figure out like what kind of know-how you need. Okay, and based on what you say, I think you probably will need more knowledge in robotics. Okay, and like in robotics, it belongs to control area. Okay, there's an area called control. Okay, so I would suggest you to go toward that direction, and maybe Dr. Lu can have more comment, suggestions, advice for you. Yeah.
I was very happy and inspired by your question. You're a high school student, you can ask questions much better than I was a high school student. But I show you one guy, Elon Musk. Coursera delivered the electric car, not from General Motors, not from Toyota only. Hey, can you imagine that? Electric car has been described for 20 years. Who really delivered? And one entrepreneur, Elon Musk. That's what he is hero. That's in my first slide. Okay, Elon Musk. And this guy, I don't think he has a lot of resources at the beginning. He invented something, PayPal. Then he sold his company, PayPal. Something, using his software, using something, you create something. I strongly recommend you to think about like Elon Musk, okay? Yes, school teaching may be important. You should go to school teaching, but during the learning process in the classroom, you imagine, okay? Don't forget my face, okay? You imagine. Maybe one day you become Taiwanese Elon Musk and the world Elon Musk. You can imagine this guy lost money after building the Tesla, almost bankrupt. He didn't have nothing. Everybody smile and joke him. How come one entrepreneur can build an electric car? You're not big company. You're not General Motors. You're not Ford. You're not Toyota. You're not Yulong. This guy made it. Rest of the big guys didn't make it. But this guy is even crazy. He now uses his money to develop the space shuttle. He believed 25 years later, people, or 15, I forgot the name, the shuttle. People ask me, what are you going to do on semiconductor 2025? I said, we manufacturing silicon on the moon. Because if we make perfect silicon, changing another chemicals called carbon. You know what is pure carbon? Diamond. We don't need a defect. If moon is a good place to manufacture, today inside the TSMC manufacturing line, you don't see human beings, all the robots. Nobody can walk into that because we bring too many dirts, contaminations. But along mask, I want to say one more thing because it's very rare opportunity. Dr. Chu, you invite me here. I will so respect him, even he's much younger than me. I hope I can be brave as him. He wants to build a super train between San Francisco and LA. The government of America is, California is building it. That shortened the time to 4 hours on the train, high-speed train, like our train. But along mass, 30 minutes. He's building it. Okay? If 30 minutes between San Francisco, LA, oh, that's wonderful life for those cities. And later on, people can travel, you know? So Elon Musk, I think he's a hero. He is brave to think about something, and then he is brave to execute it. Even he faced the bankruptcy. But his dream and the execution touch on some people's heart. That's what I mentioned, passion and creativity. That's two most important features we need to own, you need to own. Okay? So, congratulations, you already in mind open. Okay?
Like, I think that if you pursue your dream, okay, it's very important that we are only just one person. It's not possible for just one person to finish all the work. So you will need to have a group of people. You can convince them that this is a good thing. This is something worth us to fight for. Okay, so you, like a hero, you are a general. You have to have a group of soldiers who are willing to work with you, to fight with you. Okay, so you have your dream. That's good. But I think another thing you have to think about is how are you going to convince other people that want to work with you, want to fight for you together for this dream. Okay, so that goes back to the basic question. I think that Dr. Lu keeps saying today that we scientists or we researchers, our goal is to improve people's lives. Okay, if your dream cannot improve people's life, it is much more difficult for you to convince other people to work hard with you to pursue this dream. So it's good to have a cool dream, but I think it is also very important for you to think further why it is important for us to do this with you. How is it going to benefit other people's life? Okay, are you doing it because it's just being cool, or are you doing it because you will have significant impact on people's life? I think that's something worth spending time to think about. Okay.
So ladies and gentlemen, in the interest of time, we will have to conclude the Q&A session here, but please, I would like to ask you to please join me in once again thanking our two speakers, Professor Ye and also Dr. Lu. And so this concludes the opening ceremony and Meet the Scientists panel of the 2014 Taiwan International Science Fair. And we would like to wish all of the participants the best of luck in the upcoming days. And also I would like to ask you to give yourselves a round of applause to the future heroes. 我们再次谢谢大家，我们今天的开会典礼还有我们大师论坛到这边告一个段落。那么我们也希望大家在未来的5天的活动当中都会有很好的表现。再次谢谢大家。